Hello my dear students, I hope you have seen the first video of the channel. So first 5 questions have been solved, so we'll go to the next set of questions. The sixth question says, Arun and Vijay are partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 5:1. They have given an old balance sheet and also one adjustment. If the value of machinery reflected in the balance sheet is overvalued by 33.5%, find out the value of machinery to be shown in the new balance sheet. They have given in the old balance sheet machinery as 40,000 and they are telling it is overvalued. What is the meaning of overvalued is the actual value of the machinery is supposed to be less, but then in the balance sheet it's overvalued. Now for example, if you write a test, you are supposed to get only 20 marks out of 25, but by mistake in the total it is given as 22. You actually deserve only 20, but then 22 marks are given. It is overvaluation of marks. So similarly, here the machinery's value is overvalued. Value is added something extra. So the value is supposed to be less, right? The actual value is supposed to be less. So now if you go through the option A and option B gives more than 40,000, which will not be correct. If it is overvalued, you have to show the actual value, means it will be less than 40,000. So other two options which has less than 40,000, option C 32,000, option D 30,000, you add what is given in the question, 33.3%, it is more. So add 33.33% for both the options and find out the answer. 32,000 plus 33.33 will be 40,000 plus 30,000 plus 33.33, you will end up calculating 39,999 point something. So the nearest answer is 39,999. So the actual value of machinery is supposed to be 30,000. Since it's overvalued by this, the value now is 40,000. Okay. So now we'll go to the next question. So we'll solve the 7th question. In this they are asking, where will partner's salary be taken? Now there are two types of maintaining partner's capital accounts. One is fixed and one more is fluctuating capital. Fluctuating capital method. So what is this fixed capital system is? In this we maintain two accounts. One is capital account, one more is current account. In this we only maintain capital account of the partners. Why is the name called fluctuating is, all the adjustments related to partners will be taken in the same account. That's why it keeps fluctuating. In this we have separate capital account and we have separate current account. Adjustments are recorded in current account, only investment is taken in the capital account. For example, if 1 lakh is our investment, 1 lakh is taken here. On this, if interest is given, any extra adjustment is there. For example, if 10% interest is given, that is taken in the current account. 10% of 1 lakh is 10,000. Now, when it comes to fluctuating capital account, if 1 lakh is the capital and 10% is interest on capital, that will be recorded in the same account. And overall the capital account will show 1,10,000. Since adjustments are recorded in the same account, it keeps fluctuating every year. Okay. Now let us come back to the question. They are asking, where will partner's salary be taken under fluctuating capital system? When you are maintaining fluctuating capital system, you know there is only one account, one capital account. We don't have two accounts for the partners, only one. Partner's capital account. Now in this, partner's salary, the salary which we are supposed to pay to him, for the partnership firm it is expense, for the partner it is income because it is partner salary, right? All the incomes in the capital account will be credited. Partner salary is the income of the partner, that's why it will be credited in his capital account. So credit the capital account, and where will partner's salary be taken? It is firm's expense. But it's not a compulsory expense. Compulsory expense will come in profit and loss account. Appropriations will come in profit and loss appropriation account. Now comes the word appropriation. What is appropriation? Whenever you have profits, only from that profits the expenses of the partners will be paid, like partner's commission, partner's salary, interest on capital, interest on drawings, anything internally related to the partners are appropriations. So that will come in the appropriation account. So it's appropriation. So you will take in profit and loss appropriation account. Now comes, are you going to take in the debit side or the credit side? This is firm's appropriation account. If firm has to pay the salary, it's expense for the firm, right? So all the expenses will be debited. So in the profit and loss appropriation account, salary will be debited because it's firm's expense. In the capital account of the partner, it will be credited because it is partner's income. Okay? So we'll go to the next question. At the time of reconstitution of a partnership firm, recording of an unrecorded liability will lead to. Now, for unrecorded liability, I will give you an example. Now, imagine you are going to pay electric bill, e-bill, for 1000. Okay? And you forgot about this expense only. And now you realize that electric bill has to be paid. So, that's unrecorded liability. There is a liability for you for payment. One electricity bill was outstanding, but you didn't realize that you have to pay that. That is unrecorded. Now if you realize, it is burden for the partners, right? So now go through the options. Gain to the existing partners, loss to the existing partners. Neither gain nor loss. None of the above. It will be loss, no, it is burden for us. So that's why loss. Loss to the partners. So this is the right answer. So wherever theoretical questions are coming, analyze and solve quickly and move ahead. Spend time on the practical questions and manage time. E, F and G are partners sharing profits in the ratio of 3:3:2. According to the partnership agreement, G is to get a minimum amount of 80,000 as his share of profits every year, and any deficiency on this account to be personally borne by E. The net profit of the year ended 2021 amounted to 3,12,000. Calculate the amount to be borne by E. Calculate the amount of deficiency to be borne by E. Now, what is the meaning of guarantee of partner? I will just tell you the conceptual understanding, then we will proceed to the question. Now, what is guarantee of profits is, now you imagine there are three partners, A, B, C. Now we are getting another partner, fourth partner into our firm, and he is not willing to come, or he has doubt that he may get the profits or not. So what do we tell is, okay, you come to our firm, we will give you certain minimum amount of profit. Like for example, we take D and we assure him around 50,000 profits every year. Irrespective of loss, we have to pay him 50,000 profits every year. Now in one of the year, imagine we faced a loss. Imagine I am giving him guarantee. I should pay him 50,000. After facing my loss, I should bear the deficiency and pay back to him, to whom it has been guaranteed. So this is guarantee of profit concept. You get a partner into the firm, guarantee him some assured amount of profits, and then even if you are facing loss or irrespective of any profits, you should give him minimum amount of profits. Okay. So now we'll get into the question. G is to get a minimum amount of 80,000 as his share of profits every year. So this agreement was agreed by whom? E. So now any deficiency, if it is there, it will be borne by E. So now we'll see what is the actual share of G. So the overall profit is how much? The overall profit is 3,12,000 in this. What is G's actual share? G's actual share is how much? In the profit sharing ratio, it is 3:3:2. So this is G's share. So it is 2 divided by the total of this, that is 8. 2 by 8. So calculate how much it is. Okay, so we get 78,000. So according to the profits, if you bifurcate his share, he is getting only 78,000. But we have assured him to give 80,000. Right? So G will be given 80,000. Who agreed to this agreement? E agreed to this agreement. What is the deficiency in between? 2000 extra should be given to G. G's actual share is 78,000. In this 2000 should be added and given to him. So now he will bear the deficiency. Now we will calculate. Okay, the amount of deficiency to be borne by E. E has to additionally bear 2000, right, for the payment of G. So 2000 is the answer. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. At the time of admission of a partner, what will be the effect of the following information? Balance in workman's compensation reserve is 40,000. Claim for workman's compensation is 45,000. Okay. So in this case, we are maintaining workman's compensation reserve for how much? 40,000. See, usually there are so many up and downs in business. You cannot predict what will happen in the next moment. So, companies will always create reserves. Business will create reserves. Reserves means some money which is kept aside. In case if any of the situation happens, they will use this money. That is reserve. So, now they have kept a reserve aside of 40,000. And you see, there is a claim for workman's compensation for 45,000. We have to pay to our employee 45,000. We have created a reserve of 40,000. So the claim comes up to 45,000. Whenever you have created a reserve for something, this money is there for this reason. So that reason has occurred. So first you will utilize the amount in the reserve. So how much amount is there in the reserve? 40,000 is there. We will utilize entire 40,000 from the reserve. We have a deficiency of 5,000, right? So this 5,000 is a loss for us. This is the extra money that we need to pay for the compensation apart from the reserve money. So this loss, where will it be taken? In revaluation account it will be taken. Whenever there is reconstitution in the partnership, like partners are changing the ratios, admission, retirement, or anything happens in the partnership, we will prepare revaluation account. We will calculate the values of assets and liabilities again to see any profits or loss. So any losses in such case will be taken in the revaluation account's debit side. So revaluation account will be debited. Okay. So you will be debiting revaluation account. It is a loss. So whichever option has 5,000 to be debited to revaluation account will be the answer. In the absence of partnership deed, a partner is entitled to an interest on the amount of additional capital advanced by him to the firm at the rate of. Now they are asking us what will be the interest on the capital in the absence of the deed. What is deed? Is the agreement which they enter among themselves when they are starting the partnership. Okay, so that is partnership deed. Now if this agreement only is not there, just like that if they are doing their business, okay, without agreement if they are continuing their partnership firm, if a partner is investing capital and he brings additional capital, excess capital he is bringing, for example he got 1 lakh and again he is getting 50,000. So this is additional capital in order to expand or for certain other business expenses. He is getting some extra investment. What will be the rate of interest on the additional capital if there is no agreement? If there is no agreement, who is going to give him interest? So if there is no agreement, no interest on anything. No interest on capital, no interest on drawings, salary will not be given, commission will not be given, no interest on anything. Profits and losses, how they will share if there is no agreement, it will be shared equally. Okay? But only interest on loan which is given by partner. Loan given by partner, interest on that loan will be given at 6% per annum. Okay? So you need to remember this. Interest on capital will not be given. Drawings also interest will not be given. It will not be charged. No salary, no commission. Profits and losses equally it will be shared. Only if a firm borrows a loan from a partner, then firm will pay 6% per annum rate of interest. If there is no agreement. If there is an agreement, according to their terms and conditions, they will decide. Okay? So we'll go to the next question. Revaluation of assets at the time of reconstitution is necessary because their present value may differ from there. Which value? What comparison are you going to make in revaluation account? Let us see. I'll give you a simple example. Imagine you have a land worth of 10 lakhs. Okay? So this land is there in your business for around 5 years. After 5 years, the land's value is increased to 18 lakh. There is a profit of 8 lakh. Right? There is a profit of 8 lakh due to the change in the price. This was a book value at the value which you are purchasing, but then the present value in the market is 18 lakh. So always you will compare the value of assets in your firm with the market value. Book value will be compared with the market value. What is the present market value of that particular asset or a liability? Okay. So now whichever has market value will be the correct answer. Okay, so let's go to the 13th question. If the average capital employed is 8 lakh and the average of actual profits is 1,80,000, normal rate of return is 10%, how will you calculate goodwill? So related to calculation of goodwill, you will have one question. So in this they have asked, what is the value of goodwill as per the capitalization of average profit? So now how will you calculate this is, first you have to calculate average capital employed. Average capital employed of the firm. Okay. Then what you do is, you have to capitalize the profits. Capitalize the profits. Then the difference between these two values will be goodwill. Okay. So now how will you capitalize the profits? So now what they have given in the question, average of actual profits is 1,80,000. Average profits is 1,80,000. The normal rate of return is 10%. How will you capitalize these profits is, you have to reverse the normal rate of return. So if you reverse the normal rate of return, if it is 10%, means it will be 10 by 100. So if you reverse, it will come up to 100 by 10. Reciprocal this. So it's 100 by 10. So the total is 18 lakh. So now the average capital employed of the firm is given as how much? 8 lakh. And this comes up to 18 lakh. The difference between these two figures will be goodwill. That is 18 lakh minus 8 lakh. 10 lakh will be the goodwill value. What is actually normal rate of return is, what is the estimated earning of your competitors? That is normal rate of return. 14th question. In which of the following situations Companies Act 2013 allows for issue of shares at discount? Do you know one thing? Shares cannot be offered at discount. As per the recent Companies Act 2013, they tell shares can be offered at premium or shares can be offered at par. It cannot be offered at discount. For example, if the share value is 10 rupee, you cannot issue for less than 10 rupees. In general, you cannot offer a discount on the share. Discount on shares can be offered only for few shares. What are those? Let us see. So in the options, issue to the vendors. When you are issuing to the vendors, he is an outside party, you cannot offer a discount. Vendor means seller. Then issue to public. When you are offering to the general public, you cannot offer a discount. Then issue as sweat equity shares. None of the above. None of the above will not be the option. Issue as sweat equity shares. What is the meaning of sweat equity shares? Imagine I am a manager of your company. I am a director of your company. I have done excellent job in the company. I am working hard to raise the company, to open many branches. I am flourishing your company. In return, instead of paying money to me, you will offer me shares. So those shares can be offered at discount. Issue as sweat equity shares will be given to the managers, directors for their efforts. So those shares can be offered at discount. So that's sweat equity shares. Okay. So issue as sweat equity will be the answer. Okay, so let's go to the 15th question. As per section 52 of the Companies Act 2013, securities premium cannot be utilized for. See here, you can utilize the premium collected only for few reasons. Like, the first reason is You can write off preliminary expenses. Then you can offer bonus shares. Fully paid bonus shares. You can use the premium on giving discount on issue of securities. Few other reasons like this. So here, we'll go to 17th question. Kalki and Kumud were partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 5:3. They admitted Kaustubh as a new partner and the new profit sharing ratio was 3:2:1. The goodwill was valued at 3,60,000. Kaustubh couldn't bring any amount for goodwill. Amount of goodwill share to be credited to Kalki and Kumud's account will be. Always goodwill will be credited in the sacrifice ratio. For that you need to find the sacrifice ratio first. So sacrifice ratio, the formula is old ratio minus new ratio. So we'll take the partners Kalki and Kumud. So the old ratio of Kalki is 5/8, Kumud is 3/8 minus the new ratio of Kalki is 3 divided by the total 6. It is 2/6. Now find out the ratio. Here you need to do the LCM method. So the LCM of 6 and 8 is 2 3s are 2 4s are, and these two will not go in a common multiple. So finally multiply. 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24. So this is 24. Then after this, whenever there is a common multiple among both the denominators, first simplify that. This is 2 3s are, this is 2 4s are. Both the numbers goes in two tables. So simplify that and cross multiply the simplified value. 5 3s are 15 minus 4 3s are 12. So this will be 3/24. Similarly do for this also. The LCM is 24. Okay. So now again simplify and cross multiply the simplified value. So if you cross multiply, how much it is? 3 3s are 9 minus 4 2s are 8. So this is 1/24. So the sacrifice ratio here is 3:1. So this is the sacrifice ratio. Now share the goodwill in the sacrifice ratio. Now how much is the third partner share? Kaustubh's share in goodwill is how much? 3,60,000 is the total amount of goodwill of the firm. The firm's goodwill is 3,60,000. In that, how much is the new partner's share? 1/6 according to the new profit sharing ratio. So divide 3,60,000 by 6. It is 60,000. So divide this 60,000 in this ratio for both the partners. So it will be 60,000 into 3/4 into 1/4. Okay, for the first partner it's 45,000 and the second partner it's 15,000. So 45,000 and 15,000 respectively. Answer is D. We'll go to the next question, 18th question. Sarvesh, Sriniketan and Srinivas are partners in the ratio of 5:3:2. If Sriniketan's share of profit at the end of the year amounting to 1,50,000, what will be the Sarvesh share of profit? Okay, so in this, the second partner Sriniketan's share of profit is 1,50,000. So this 1,50,000 is the old ratio of the partners is 5:3:2. In this, Sriniketan's share is 1,50,000. So what was his share in the profit sharing ratio? It is 3 divided by total. 5 plus 3 8, 8 plus 2 10. For 3/10 portion, he is getting 1,50,000. Then how will you calculate the total profits? Just reciprocal his share. The total profit of the firm will be 1,50,000 into reciprocal this. 3/10 will become 10/3. Then calculate the total profits. So the total profit comes up to 5 lakhs. So now you have got the total profit. Now whichever partner's share is asked, you can easily calculate. Now which partner's share is asked? the first partner, Sarvesh share. So the first partner share is 5, right? So if you are calculating Sarvesh share, it will be 5 lakh into, what is this share? 5 divided by 10. So 5 lakh into 5 by 10 will be 2,50,000. So whichever option has 2,50,000 will be the answer. Answer is D. Yeah, that's it guys. We are done with section A, that is 18 questions. I hope you understood. Any doubts, please comment below in the comment section and ask me your doubts. I'll clarify. And next we are going to proceed with section B type of questions, a little tougher questions. Okay, let's solve that in the next video. Also, many students are asking me about assertion reasoning based question. So my next video probably will be based on assertion reasoning based question. So you will very soon get my video. Thank you for watching. Bye guys. Please do share the video. Bye bye.